All right, Shalom. All right. First and foremost, we have to give all the praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rukaha Kadash. All right, double honors and respect to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, who well taught us His truth. I also like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect, and the one third. This is Brother Salah.
Brother Barack.
All right. In today's video topic, it's gonna be this war, this invasion in Venezuela is going to kick off and escalate, this third world war and Jacob's trouble, right? And basically what we mean by that as you've heard recently, right? Right, the United States, right, they're planning on going down to Venezuela is because of all the all the drugs that the drugs and cartels and trafficking and whatnot be being the drugs being sent from Central and South America is being sent to the U.S. And particularly the reason why they chose Venezuela is because they're giving the alibi there that that Maduro or his regime or whatever, man, is not legitimate. And that the U.S. should come and dethrone them or take him down, and set up their quote unquote democracy. But we all know that they're actually going there, to retrieve their oil. And because Venezuela is planning to drop the U.S. reserve currency, the petrodollar, in exchange for the Chinese yuan, right? Right. And I also like to say this, man, and like them them giving the fucking excuse that is because they're because they're sending drug cartels, like drug cartels, and drugs from like Venezuela to the U.S. man, thinking that they're doing this on their own volition. Like, no, man, we know that Babylon the Great, America, right, has used corporate, has used entities like the CIA, to allow drug these cartel drug traffickers into the U.S. For them to sell to sell their drugs, to the hood, man. Putting Jake on drugs, man. Giving them drugs, guns, and them causing all these problems in the hood, man. But guess what? Now all these curses, they're starting to encroach on Esau, man. That's why it's becoming a problem. So this fucking devil Esau, man, he ain't nothing but a hypocrite, man. Because if you look at DeepSeek AI, and I looked at this on both my phone and the PC, right? I've asked DeepSeek AI, did the CIA work with drug cartels in Central and South America to allow drugs to be smuggled into the U.S.? And the short answer is yes. There have been multiple document instances where elements of the CIA and other U.S. government agencies allied or turned a blind eye to individuals and groups involving in drug trafficking to achieve other foreign policy goals, and primarily in Central America, right? Right. So basically, right, this proves that this devil is a fucking hypocrite, man. They want to invade Venezuela is because they want to stop the evil drug trafficking cartel regime when it was them that set them up in the fucking first place, man. And I asked the same question here on the PC, and it gave the same exact answer. And it says the short answer is that declassified documents, government reports, and court cases have confirmed that U.S. elements and U.S. intelligence community, including the CIA cooperated and used individuals and groups involved drug trafficking to advance foreign policy goals, knowing that this collaboration allowed drugs to enter into the United States. And yes, man, like it goes back to to Esau's order ab kill problem, the problem at reaction solution, right? Order out of chaos, right? Right. They want to start the the chaos in Venezuela. Take their oil. To take Venezuela's oil in order to hold on to the power that the U.S. petrodollar or the U.S. reserve currency still has, man. And that's why all hell's about to break loose real soon is because the U.S. dollar is about to collapse, man, under the weight of the tariffs, man, and and everyone dropping the dollar, man. This damn devil, he's about to lose it, man. He's about to go mad because he knows he has but a short time, right? So so before we play this video, I'm only gonna play the first part of the video, right? All right. You see the title right here, and I'm gonna play the second part of this video, and I'm gonna play a little bit of part of this video. We played this we've already played this video in the last lesson, but I'm gonna play an important part of this video later on. But first we're gonna open up with the precept. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6, and it says here, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and see that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet," right? Right, and we hear rumors of wars about the war in Venezuela about to begin, right? And if you jump to Revelation chapter 11, starting at verse 14, it says here, "The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly," right? And through the Spirit, man, we believe that once once the U.S. troops, once they invade Venezuela, once war becomes full blown here, China, man, they're gonna get involved because China's basically saying hey, hey, don't fucking mess with Venezuela, or else they're gonna retaliate, man, and that's basically World War III right there, man. And the back and forth between Iran, the war that's happening in Ukraine, and now war happening in Venezuela, man. Like I'm telling you, man, like World War III is going to pop off, man, and it's got to get to the point where it will once the U.S. dollar starts to collapse, man. Then that's when you see all hell's gonna break loose here in Babylon the Great, man, and then they're gonna be forced to U.S. the U.S. National Guard troops, man. And in the midst of people rioting and breaking into people's homes and stores to find food because why, man, them shelves are going to be empty. So before we play the video, of course we're gonna get the copyright disclaimer. All right, copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right. So with that, we're gonna play the first video. We're only gonna play up to here. So
let me begin with a question. How many times have we watched the United States assume that it owns the world, that it can dictate who governs, who trades, and who prospers, whether in Latin America, the Middle East, or Asia? The story unfolding in Venezuela today is a striking reminder that the age of unquestioned U.S. dominance is not only over, it is being openly challenged. And who is at the forefront of that challenge? China. Yes, the same China that Washington once dismissed as a developing country is now stepping up and saying, clearly stay away from Venezuela. Let us take a step back and remember how we got here. For more than a century, the United States has treated Latin America as its unquestioned sphere of influence. The phrase often used was America's backyard, a phrase that reveals more than its users might have intended. A backyard is a place you own, a place where you decide what happens, a place you can ignore until you need something from it. That has been the U.S. view toward nations like Venezuela. But history has a way of humbling empires, and what we are witnessing now is the erosion of that dominance. The reality, no matter how loudly Washington protests, is that U.S. hegemony in Latin America is crumbling before our eyes, and the cracks are becoming impossible to cover. Think about this. How many times has the U.S. government spoken of freedom, democracy, and sovereignty, only to trample those very values in its dealings with countries south of its border? Venezuela has lived this contradiction for decades. From the oil boom of the 20th century to the rise of leaders like Hugo Chavez, who dared to use Venezuela's natural wealth to uplift his own people rather than enrich foreign corporations, Washington has responded not with respect but with hostility. Sanctions, embargoes, coup attempts. These have been the real tools of U.S. policy. They were effective for a time. They worked because Latin America had fewer alternatives, fewer allies, fewer sources of support. But today is different. Today, Venezuela is not isolated, and that changes everything. Here's the hook you must hold on to. The very idea that the United States can dictate outcomes in Venezuela is becoming a relic of the past. The decline is not sudden, but it is unmistakable. Every sanction that failed to bring Caracas to its knees, every attempt to delegitimize its government that backfired, every effort to rally global opinion that fell flat, each one has chipped away at the aura of U.S. control. And every moment of resistance in Venezuela has shown the world that Washington's grip is not as firm as it once was. That lesson is being absorbed not just in Caracas, but in capitals across Latin America and beyond. The real problem for Washington is not simply Venezuela's defiance, it is the example that defiance sets. When one nation resists the pressures of a superpower and survives, others begin to ask, why not us? Why should we surrender sovereignty to Washington's dictates? Why should our resources enrich corporations abroad while our people live in poverty? These are dangerous questions for an empire because they awaken possibilities of independence, and independence spreads. Venezuela becomes a symbol, a spark that could ignite a broader rejection of U.S. dominance. That is why Washington reacts with such intensity, because it knows the stakes are bigger than oil, bigger than ideology. They are about the survival of a system of control that is slipping away. And yet, here is the paradox: the more aggressively the U.S. attempts to assert itself, the weaker it looks. Each new sanction exposes its declining influence.
All right, so we're basically gonna stop there. You've heard what this AI voice says, right?
And I don't know if you want me to add on to what that guy was saying, but
Yeah,
these people are basically saying, basically these people start, rebelling, right? They start doing riots, and that goes into the book of Proverbs 29 too, when it talks about when the righteous are in rule, the people rejoice, but when the wicked are in rule, the people mourn. So what these people are doing, basically saying, why us? Why do we have to go through this? Okay, we're gonna start rioting, and then you get the same thing in these, then you get the same thing in like these Mexican countries, a lot of these, Northern Kingdom, would they start going crazy because their government, and in their government you got also, Edomites, where a lot of these Edomites, sold their people out. They have corrupt policies, corrupt police. So the wicked are in rule everywhere. It's not just USA.
yeah, yeah, yes, but you've also been paying attention, right? One of the main reasons, as this AI voice of Richard Wolf says, man, so basically, right, as I stated in the beginning of the video, right, and as the apostles and those and the brothers have been preaching, right, this is a power grab, right, like this is the U.S.'s last ditch attempt to to try to stay in control, to try to have that global dominance and everything, right? As Elder Malcolm says, how dare you use your own resources, man, and not funnel to us, man? How dare you have your own form of government? How dare you not use our money and use your own money, man? And it goes to show you how much of a damn devil this man Esau is, right? Right, how dare become independent to us, and not rely on us, and be a slave, and be a slave unto us, man. And give us your resources, right? Because that's basically the whole existence of America. America, his whole existence is basically taking resources from every other nation, right? Right, and let's we're gonna get a few scriptures to substantiate this, right? Let's get first Maccabees, Maccabees 1. All right, so we're gonna read First Maccabees chapter 1, and it says here, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius the king of the Persians and Medes, and that reigned instead. The first over Greece, right? And, we know Alexander is an Amalek, stems from the line of Amalek. From Alexander to Philip to to a descendant of Agag, who was a descendant of Amalek, who was a descendant of Eliphaz, who was a descendant of Esau, Edom, man. So yeah, and yes, so we know Alexander, the Greek man, is a fucking Edomite in rulership at that time, at that time, right? So continuing on in verse 2, and made many wars and won many strong holds, and slew kings of the earth, and ma- and made Salaki, let me read this again. And made many wars, who won many strongholds, and slew kings of the earth, and went through the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Where, whereupon he was exalted in his heart, and his heart was lifted. He got really proud, man, and he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings, who became tributaries unto him. Right? Just like these other countries, man, like Venezuela. Countries in the Middle East, man. Countries in Southeast Asia, like the Philippines, man, and Japan, Korea, and some other Southeast Asian countries. They were tributaries, man. They gave their oil, their resources. Whatever they had. They gave it to these mega corporations here in Babylon, right? But now that authority is being challenged, right? Right, with this war that's happening in Venezuela, right? Basically, the people of Venezuela are saying, you know what, we're fed up with you, man. We're not dealing with U.S. dollar anymore, man. Because the people in Venezuela who are Asher, right? And I'm gonna get the scriptures on that really soon, right? Right, these people, they're tired of getting the short end of the stick when it comes to like trade and foreign policy, right? Because these Asherites know they're getting exploited, right? Right, as well as these other nations, right, and basically, Babylon the Great, America, they see that as a fucking rebellion, and so that's why they're about to send down these troops, right, and they're using the cover story of, oh, it's because they're smuggling drug. Is because Venezuela and these other South American countries, they're smuggling drugs into the U.S. when really it was U.S. that wanted that to happen in the first place,
And
because of the money flow. Right, and of course we have the receipts on this too, man. Like,
you can bring out the statistic about the CIA, how or you how did you bring out the what the AI said about the CIA smuggling drugs?
yeah, and I'm gonna bring it up again. Just like so, like it's to stage at the point, and basically, right. I asked DeepSeek AI both on my phone and on the computer, and again, man, the short answer is yes. Yes, there have been well documented instances where elements of the CIA and other U.S. government agencies have allied with or turned a blind eye to individuals and groups involved in drug trafficking to achieve other foreign policy goals, primarily in Central America. And again, man, the reason why they wanted to smuggle drugs in the UA is to put Jake on these drugs, man. Going back to them curses, right? They want to put drugs in the hoods along with these guns, man, and they wanted gang banging, right? Because they wanted Jake in that low demonic estate, right? But guess what? Now these curses are starting to fall upon Esau, man, and Esau sees that he's at his end of his kingdom, right? Hence why he's sending all these troops, man. He's putting all these tariffs, man. To try to hold on to that to that hegemony he has with the world reserve currency, right? But guess what? These people are starting to rebel, man. China stepping in and he's basically saying, hey, don't do this, man. Don't. If you send your troops there, we will retaliate, man. And again, man, if U.S. does that, man, that will basically kick off this third world war, man. Like, it'll escalate tensions, man, and you'll see these things start to happen in Babylon real fast, man. The supply chain is going to completely stop, man. People are going to stop trading with Babylon. Shelves are going to become empty. People are going to start rioting. And man, and then that's when you're gonna see these troops activate, man. These National Guard stationed everywhere. You're gonna see them start attacking the civilians, and it's gonna get to the point where the National Guard, they're gonna turn on their own government, and then that's when we're gonna send these foreign troops and these drones, man. And it's gonna be all out fucking hell, man. And Babylon the Great, as we saw, man. So it's about to get really bad here in Babylon the Great. I mean, man. That's why you brothers, man. You have to pay attention, man, to what's going on, man. And stay prayed up, man, and stay ready at all times because you don't know when your house is gonna come, man. We're real close, man. And all right. So this is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 7, and it says here, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They have eat thy bread and have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in them, right? And yeah, man. Man, Esau, Edom, right? Right, they no more understanding this devil, man. He's going out the door, man. He's making all again, man. Esau, Edom, man. He's making all these rash, stupid decisions, man. And ultimately, that's going to lead to the downfall of his country, right? Because Esau right now he's hesitating to to release that MOTB, right? Because he knows that once he releases that MOTB, right, then that's gonna be the end of his kingdom, right? He knows that he needs people to take that RFID so he can gain control back of the entire system, right? But guess what? Once he like the elites, once he knows he does that, then that's when Yahushua is gonna fucking come down, man, and put the spirit on these
And
other nations to nuke Babylon the Great, man, and beam up the elect, So we almost there.
Esau, right now he has a good amount of control on people because most people are already so consumed by their phones, and their cell phone is basically already a part of them. And Elon Musk, he was doing like a presentation, talking about the Neuralink, saying how they want it all rolled out by 2028. But he was saying that humans are already like cyborgs in a way because they're always connected to their phone. So Esau, he's already controlling most people.
Yeah, but guess what? Esau, man, he wants to establish himself as a god, man. Man, he ultimately he wants to have that blessing back, that birthright, which he can never have, man. His desire is hell, man. So meaning he can never get enough, man. He always wants more and more and more, man. That's again that's why he wants every nation to be under subjection of him, man. And he wants to see himself as that ultimate, as the ultimate, that ultimate ruler or that godlike figure, right? And once he attempts to do that, man, Yahweh Bashim Shai, man, he's gonna ultimately take his fucking ass down, man. Man, as the scripture says, like, let's get this, he that all right, let's Second Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 4 for the chapter 2. We're gonna start at verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And we know that man of sin is Esau, Edom, man, right? The so-called white man and woman. Of course, it's not all white people, but but the ones that descend from the line of Esau, Edom, man. Man, they're the wicked, man. That wicked seed line, right? Verse 4: Who opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he, as God, sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, right? Right, but but now, but now we're living in the time where where people are looking at him sideways, and people are starting to realize that that this man's the fucking problem of the earth, right? So we're gonna get this next precept. Um, let's see. Oh, loose. All right, Isaiah chapter 14. We're gonna start at. We're gonna start at verse 4. All right, Isaiah 14, verse 4 says here, "Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, How hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord Yahweh shall hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people with wrath and a continual stroke, man." And that's what he's doing with Venezuela right now. He's trying to smite them with that continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet, and break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, Since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us. Hell from beneath thee is moved. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones in the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All all they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou has become weak as we, as art thou likened unto us? And yeah, that's what that's what these other nations are saying, man. That's what these other nations are starting to rise up. That's why they're starting to dish that dollar, because they see they see the fall of America. They see their world reserve currency weakening, man. And ultimately, this devil, he's about to crash out, man. And tell corporate entities, like BlackRock, to buy up all the resources around the world, or whatever, or he's gonna try or he's gonna try to send troops, worldwide. But once he does that, man, China, BRICS, China, Russia, India, Brazil, man, they gonna fucking retaliate, man. The earth is, yeah, you see right now, the earth is rising up against this devil. And Esau's mad because he knows he's about to go down ultimately, right? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy bowels, else the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground that didst weaken the nations? And the word, and if you look at the word Lucifer, it goes into the word light bearer, or the enlightened one. They have the light on that left hand side, man. That left handed wickedness, that left handed priesthood, man. That goes back to the philosophies of these wicked Babylonian Canaanites, man. These Hamites, right, which originally came from the serpent, that got passed out to Ham, and then came back to the wicked, through Esau, Edom, right? Right, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will sit above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And that's what Esau's trying to do, man. When he implements this MOTB, he wants to be that godlike figure like Nimrod. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the whole world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, and opened not the house of his prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. Now, so yeah. So basically, man, these other nations are like, yeah, look at this motherfucker, man, try to invade, man. Who the fuck does he think he is, man? Yeah, Moab is basically saying, like, you. You invade Venezuela, man. This is what the fuck's gonna happen, right? And or they're saying to Israel, like, okay, you keep attacking Iran, like, this is what Iran's gonna do. They can receive, backup from both Russia and China, with troops and military weapons, man. The whole world, man. That third world, man. They about to go to war with this devil real soon, man. And you see it about to happen in these coming months, man. I'm telling you right now. Well, America's about that 250-year mark, man. Man, and Lord willing, man, we for us that's here in Babylon the Great, man, we gonna see the demise, man. We gonna see the collapse of this fucking devil, man. Hey, and it's 4:41, man. Call Allah Yahweh Shem Yao Shai. All right, so I'm gonna play this next video. Oh, it talks about Murdo's militia alert. So basically, right, you're gonna see the testimony of these Moabites and Maduro going up against Esau's wicked regime, right? That that's them looking at Babylon the Great. That's them looking at Esau sideways, saying that Slaki saying that saying that his regime, saying that Esau's regime is ultimately wicked, man. Is that oppressive wicked regime, and that's been putting their foot down, saying they fucking had enough of these damn devils, man. So here's the video.
China has waded into the Venezuela crisis, warning against outside interference and the use of force. Beijing urged Washington and other countries to respect Venezuela's sovereignty, calling for calm amid rising tensions.
China opposes any move that violates the proposals and principles of the UN Charter and infringes upon other countries' sovereignty and security. We oppose the use or threat of use of force in international relations and oppose external interference in Venezuela's internal affairs.
The comments came as Venezuela's president, Nicolás Maduro, urged millions of militia members, reservists and civilians to enlist in defense of the country.
I have called for next Saturday and Sunday at military barracks, military units, central public squares, Bolivar squares, and at the headquarters of the 15,151 popular bases for integral defense, for a process of national enlistment of all militia forces, of the entire Bolivarian national militia. I call on all militiamen, militia women, reservists, and all people who want to enlist and join the ranks of the great national plan for sovereignty and peace.
Maduro's appeal comes as the U.S. builds up naval and marine forces in the southern Caribbean. The Pentagon says the deployment is part of a campaign to target drug cartels that threaten regional and U.S. security.
Cartels have engaged in historic violence and terror throughout our hemisphere and around the globe that has destabilized economies and internal security of countries, but also flooded the United States with deadly drugs, violent criminals, and vicious gangs.
And I'm gonna stop right there. Let me bring out a precept, man. That's Babylon, man. Using their two horns to speak as a lamb, but they're using their two horns like a lamb, right? Them showing their quote unquote good intentions on why they want to invade Venezuela, when we know damn well. Well, it's them trying to hold on to that, to their global hegemony, with their world reserve currency, right? Because now, since Venezuela doesn't want to deal with the U.S. petrodollar, or the U.S. wants to go in and fucking take their resources, take Asher's resources and oil, right? Right, so we're gonna get a couple of precepts on that. Let's see here. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, starting at verse 11, and it says here, and I beheld another beast coming up of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon, and he had exercised all the power of the first beast before him, which is Rome, and causes the earth. And wished them to dwell there and to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed, and part of that worship, right, is them participating, in their system, right, the economic system, through trade and dealing with their money, right, which is that petrodollar, right, because that dollar is essentially a fucking talisman or talisman, and let's look up that word talisman. KJV. Oh, actually, define talisman. Talisman, an object, typically an inscribed ring or stone, owned to the thought of magic powers to bring good luck, right? Similarly, luck, charm, fetish, amulet, mascot, term, idol, totem, right? And ultimately, right, right, that idols could be embedded in your skin, right? As you read down in Revelation chapter 13, it's gonna talk about the MOTB, right, right, right. That's why it says that why no man may buy or sell, right? Because by them worshiping the beast, right, is them participating in is by them participating in their economy, right? Through trade and commerce, right? But everything gets funneled through Esau, right? Right, right. Right. Going back to the book of Maccabees, right? Esau wants everyone to be tributaries unto him. He wants them to worship him as he's some sort of godlike figure or leader or whatever, right? Right, all right. Picking up at verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, in so much that he make a fire come down from heaven and on earth in the sight of men. Right, talking about them bombs and his nuclear missiles, and deceiveth them. Right, I mean he deceiveth them, that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying unto them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image unto the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live, and he had power to give life unto the image of beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as made as would not worship the beast should be killed, right? And again, that's why they're saying them troops of Venezuela is because they're not participating in the system, they're not worshiping him, right? Or they're not being tributaries unto him, right? That's why they're sitting. That's why Esau. That's why ultimately Esau wants to get wants to get that last ditch attempt in rulership by implementing the MOTB system worldwide, right? Esau's trying to seize control of everything to hold on to that blessing, but again, man, ultimately, we know that's gonna be his fucking downfall, right? So, oh, oh, all right, and continue on with Revelation 13:60 on down. All of us should know these scriptures by heart by now, because this is about to what's this is about to this is about to happen. What's going to happen. Real soon in the foreseeable future. And it says here, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark, a charagma, on their right hand or on their foreheads, that no man may buy or sell, save that he had the mark of the beast, or the number of had the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Slakia. Let me read that again. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the mark of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 Chi Psi Stigma. Right, if you break that down in the Greek, right? And you see and of course you see the 666 on your barcodes, right? Whenever you buy or sell something, which again is all part of Esau's monetary system. Which goes back, to worshiping him, and ultimately, you bowing down and subjecting yourself to Esau is you taking that mark, man. Because if you take that mark, you will, like, there is no repentance for you on this side, man. You will get fucking destroyed. You will get thrown into that lake of fire, man. So that's why we gotta pray to Yahweh Shemi Al Shai, man, that that he gives us a way out, that we don't take that mark, or if we get captured, right, he gives us that spirit to endure, man. And because we almost there, right? All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 46, verse 10. And it says, declaring the end from the beginning, and from the ancient times, these things are not yet done. My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country. Yeah, I have spoken it, and will bring it to pass that I purpose it, that I have purposed it. I will also do it. Hearken unto me, ye stout hearted, ye that are far from from righteousness. I bring my righteousness near, and it shall be far off, and my salvation shall not tarry. I will place salvation in Zion, for Israel is my glory, right? And this part of Isaiah, right? And back in the old times, right? It was talking about the Medo Persians, right? Cyrus, invading ancient Babylon, and taking over that kingdom. But now the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, man, he's using the BRICS, the BRICS nation, right? He's using Iran, Brazil, India, China, right? Right, to ultimately challenge against America and take America down, through them ICBM nuclear missiles, right? Right, during that third woe. So just goes to show you, man, that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, he's using the exact same playbook as he did in the past, but now he's using on a much larger scale.
I got a scripture if I can work this out. This is the book of Colossians 1:13. It says, "For he has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loves." So Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is gonna take us out of this place. Like we're not gonna be here forever. This. When we see that MOTB come, and all these prophecies, start being, which are already being fulfilled. That's when we're gonna get beamed up out of this fucking hellhole.
And this precept, second address 2:35, be ready for the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore.
Con. Yes. So we basically almost there, brothers. We see prophecies coming to pass, man, and this man Esau, he's getting scared, man. He's getting ready to attack Asher, man, and try to take his resources. But once he's about to do that, man, the Lord's gonna put the spirit on Moab and these other nations to retaliate, man, and kick off that third woe, man. And how we know Venezuela's Asher, right? Is through the 12 tribes, man. And they the northern kingdom. They part of that 12 tribes, and we have a scripture to substantiate that too, man. And so if we bring out the book of I had it, Slovakia. Yeah, if we bring up the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 24, it says here, and of Asher, he said, let Asher be blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren. Let him dip his foot in oil. And that's what these Edomites are going to be after. They're after. They're after the resources of Asher in Venezuela, trying to get that oil, right? Trying to maintain that, position of of hegemony by what, by getting control of the resources if they don't comply. To Esau's rule, man. But eventually that's all building up to to his eventual downfall, man. And if you look out here on Google Maps, right, Asher mainly consists of Colombia, Venezuela, and Brazil, man, and Guyana. Yeah, so yes, so basically, man, we close, man, to to our salvation, man. this damn devil Esau, man. He's gonna do what what he needs to do, man. And eventually, the Lord Yahweh he's gonna take his ass out. All right, so let me continue on with the rest of this video, so I don't ramble on, and then we're gonna close up.
The Trump administration labels Maduro's government a narco-terrorist regime and has raised the bounty for his arrest to $50 million.
President Trump has been very clear and consistent. He's prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice. The Maduro regime is not the legitimate government of Venezuela. It is a narco-terror cartel.
While the Pentagon emphasizes countering criminal threats, critics warn that the build-up risks escalating into a direct confrontation with Maduro's government.
Yeah, and Babylon saying that they're not a legitimate government because they're saying that because because they don't want to participate in Esau's unfair economic system or their unfair trade, man. Again, that's why this devil is about to come down, right? So this is the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12, and it says here, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth he hath but a short time," right? Yeah, and that's and as you see right now, man, you see Esau about to wage war on these tribes, man, because they don't want to deal with his ass anymore, man. Man, they see for for the devil he is. They see all these unfair trades that he's doing, and now the Lord's raising up these other nations, to ultimately rise up against Esau, man, and then Esau's gonna be taken out, man. That's why Esau's gonna have no choice but to push the button, man, and declare martial law and eventually roll out the MOTB, right? So we're gonna close up with these last few precepts. And he is about to. All right, Job chapter 20 verse 23, and it says here, "When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fear of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he's eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through." And it's talking about these ICBM nuclear missiles. "It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yeah, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him, and all darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown out shall consume him. It shall go ill with him. And that this is left in his tabernacle," right? So Esau, man, you see this devil about you see Esau about to fucking go down, man. So so with that, we're gonna end off the lesson right there. Hope this lesson's been edifying, to Akim and to you Akwath. And with that, we'd like to say, Call Halayim La, Abanawa,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashem,
Ba'ashem, Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Ba'ashem,
Bashem,
Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Rakadash.
All right, double honors and respect to our apostles and elders, the great millstone who will and taught us his truth. We also like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect in the 1/3. This is Brother Salah, and with that, I like to say shalom.
Go on.